Hey, this is Steve Hawkeiser of Detente, and welcome to the first episode of the new podcast, Sex, Meth, Thrash. Today, I want to talk about Dawn Crosby. It is the 24th anniversary of her death. Dawn died in 1996, and as is typical around this time of year, when you start thinking about those you have lost, she has come to my mind, and I wanted to talk to fans and friends of her about what I felt made her a very unique artist. So, obviously, being back in the early to mid 1980s, she was certainly unique in the fact that there were not very many female metal vocalists around, especially in the thrash extreme metal scene. Notable exceptions might be the great Sabina Clausen of Holy Moses. You had Tam from Sacrilege. In America, you had Debbie Gunn from Sentinel Beast. But your typical female vocalist was really promoting the more overt sexualism, right? Sexuality. So you had like Betsy from Bitch would be an example where her shtick was basically, "Hey, I'm going to go out with leather and whips, and you're going to be my slave," you know. So there weren't a lot of uh, female metal vocalists who wanted to be treated as authentic equals. Let's say, where it was like, "Hey, I'm not standing up here to shake my tits and to sell that part." They want to be seen no differently than their male counterparts. And Dawn was certainly that, and one of the greats from the time, as she's noted of now. The other thing that was certainly part of Dawn's connection to people was her lyrics. So she was obviously very good. She was able to convey her emotions, usually around rage and pain, is what we often reflect on. If it had rage and it was pain, then Dawn, nobody did better than Dawn. And a lot of fans and listeners connected with that over time. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody reach out to me on the Detente Facebook or through some other social network or email and just talk about, hey, when Dawn was singing Life of Pain, I really connected with that because these songs were really based upon her own life experience and the emotions were there. She was really able to convey them. People connected to it, and she was very authentic uh, in uh, in what she was willing to sing about, whether it was Blood I Bleed, sexual abuse of women, abortion, and widow's walk, you name it. She was very honest, authentic. Everybody else was doing the Dungeons and Dragons, and Dom was singing about the real shit, which also promoted detente to that crossover crowd. Let's say there's always lots of arguments out there as to, hey, were they thrash, were they punk, were they just metal crossover, whatever it is. And my point is, you know, we were just a metal band, and we just happened to have our own style, and that's probably why people argue about it. But back to Dawn and what I thought made her a really original artist and very unique was not just about her ability to convey her own thoughts and her own emotions based upon her own life experience. Not only the fact that she was able to stand out there and forget being a female metal vocalist, she was just one of the great metal vocalist, period, if you ask me at least. But I'll give an example with Holy War, where I had written the song and I brought it into the studio. And this time I felt, hey, I really want to write the lyrics of a song. So I brought it in, and the song was written, and the lyrics were in my back pocket. And the song was called Holy War. The lyrics do not resemble anything of today, which is kind of the heart of the story. So I came into the rehearsal studio. We used to rehearse at Vernon Studios. This was in Vernon, California. It was basically an old abandoned building where most of the metal acts were rehearsing. You had Megadeth there. You had just about anybody you could think of who came out of the Los Angeles metal scene, had a rehearsal spot there. It was just basically this old building that they had just thrown doors on, carved out these rooms, and pretty sure it was condemned. I mean, the place was just kind of flying underneath the radar, and Vernon itself was basically a city that was basically one big slaughterhouse. So anybody who's rehearsed there would know that smell in summer of human slaughtering cattle and the smell of blood. Now, maybe it was human blood, but I'm pretty sure it was cattle and pigs, and they had the remnant factories there. So you had that happy Farmer John image on the side, herding the pigs into the slaughterhouse. And anyway, that may be a story for another time. So back to Dawn and Holy War. So in the studio, I started walking Dennis Butler, long-term drummer, a good friend, Ross Robinson. At the time, Caleb had not yet joined the band, so I brought in Holy War and started showing them how the song was structured, and we started working on it. And Don came in, a little bit later after we had already started getting the feel for it as a band, and said, "Oh, what's this song? Sounds pretty good." And I said, "Oh, it's called Holy War." And I actually pulled the lyrics out of a piece of paper in my back pocket and gave them to Dawn, thinking that, oh, she's really gonna love these lyrics. And she walked away and said, "Okay, let me check it out," and leaves. And we go back to rehearsing the song. So maybe 15, 20 minutes later, she comes back into the studio, and she just looks very excited. And she says, "Okay, okay, I got something here." And says, "Okay, which part is the chorus?" And those of you who have listened to the band, you know the chorus of Holy War. And we start playing it, and she just starts belting out, "Holy, holy." And then she stops us and says, "I'm going to yell holy, and you guys are going to say war." So me, I had written these lyrics, and that's not the chorus. It's not this anthem of holy war, that whole thing. It's really some complex, probably, I don't remember all the lyrics, but there were just too many words in there, right? So Dawn, as you've listened to on a lot of our music, was very, very big on bringing out those anthems in the chorus, whether it's Your Fate or Holy War, right? So she just had that touch. So I'm like, I don't know about that, and Ross gets all excited, and he starts saying, "Yeah, yeah," and she starts yelling, "Holy," pointing to Ross, and Ross is war. It's just singing, belting out war. And then I start belting out. I'm like, yeah, yeah, this actually could work. This is pretty cool. So we go back to playing the song and rehearsing it, and Dawn goes back to finish writing up the lyrics. And you would think, based upon the fact that I don't know how many countless hours, how many days I spent writing whatever crappy lyrics I put together, at least the title worked out. Made it to the song and made it to the chorus. But I spent I don't know how much time, and this is what I find so amazing about Dawn. She comes back maybe half hour, 45 minutes after that, and she has it. So maybe there were some refinements over time of the song, but she had Holy War pretty much 99% there, and she came in and she started saying, "Okay, take it through this part," and starts belting out, "Suicidal bomber, dying for a cause, and the life you're losing is well worth the price," right? So she just has this thing nailed, and not only does she have the entire song written, and just really taking this idea from someone else, and what I had written on paper was just so beyond Holy War. It was just this contrived mess, and just saying, "Hey, Holy War, good concept," and really be able to get to the meat of it, the heart of this song, and then just be able to belt it out is one thing, be able to bring in the lyrics another, but to be able to just get right into the proper phrasing. Okay, here's the verse, and she's heard the song maybe in the other room. She's listening to it as we're rehearsing, but she's able to get right there so quickly. So that is really the thing I think that anybody who's ever tried to write lyrics just knows how hard it is to come up with anything that is worth presenting to someone else. and this innate ability for her to just be able to grab onto something, an idea someone else brought in. That didn't happen often. After that experience, it was like, I think Dawn's better at this than me, so I'll leave that to her and I'll just go to stick with writing songs, playing bass and writing songs and grunting out war in the background or losers or whatever that is. That's my role in the band. I'm gonna let Dawn handle the lyrics because she's a fucking genius. So let her come back with the lyrics and let her come back with the phrasing and we'll be good. So, you throw that into the mix, and that is what separates, at least in my mind, Dawn and makes her a truly unique artist and one that is missed. And rest in peace, Dawn. We all, wish you had made it, but I truly do believe she's at peace. So, anyway, if you guys have any questions, you could go ahead and hit this link and go ahead and throw some questions on for the next podcast. On the next podcast, I'm actually going to invite Dennis Butler, and we are really going to talk about year one of the detente, where it was just like pure madness and craziness. And whenever we get together, we have some pretty funny, amusing, and crazy stories to tell. So thank you. Talk to you soon. Peace.